Wrestling fans, we have the 39th annual Royal Rumble upon us in a couple of days, and I cannot be more excited as this is still my favorite event of the wrestling season. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania. This is going to be a good show today as I have Ryan from North South Connection podcast. If you guys want to hear great, insightful wrestling content, these guys are popping it out every single day. Go check them out. I will link it below. Before we get into anything, though, guys, please share, like, subscribe to all of the stuff that we're going to be doing. Wrestling content coming at you hot and heavy. Maybe not weekly like these guys are doing over there. But at the big events, Ryan, it's Rumble season, man. How you feeling?
Good. I'm ready to rumble, man. I was lucky enough to have you on the men's match preview on my channel. So if you want a double dose of Pudgy Mike, you know, we got it over there at the North-South. But Mike, thanks for having me. This is my first time on the channel. I know we've done a bunch of stuff together, but I think it's been mostly on my end. Is this my first time on the Pudgy Boy Sports Network?
This is your first, this is your debut match on the cards.
Let's go.
So we're going to check to see if you're good. I'm going to have you in Gorilla making your debut, and when you pop out, the crowd will roar, and we'll see what happens. But let me get your excitement before we get into this. What is your excitement level overall for the Rumble?
Like you, I love the Rumble, right? It's up there with WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. Those weekends, even if it's like the downtime in the company's history or whatnot, I'm still pretty excited. So I'm at like an 8 or 9. I'm pretty jazzed up, right? There's no marquee match to kind of grip your interest, but there's definitely like the men's Rumble, the women's Rumble, and the 2 title matches should be pretty good. So I am pretty pumped up before. It's Royal Rumble, of course.
Well, yeah, the Royal Rumble always brings it out of me, no matter what. But let's jump right into this first match. So we'll go with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. I will touch this up later in editing as it doesn't look that pretty now, but it will look pretty when you guys will see it at the end of the day. So Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre is our champion. Sami Zayn is our underdog once again. He's going to have that beautiful match that Sami Zayn always has. What do you think's going to happen here? Before you give a prediction, what do you think's going to happen here for this match? I think it's going to be basically, again, script is going to be very simple. Sami's going to have the heroic fight till his last drop of blood comes out, his last drop of sweat, ultimately losing the match. I think eventually that's how it'll go. What do you think about that?
Ultimately, yeah. There's this through storyline here where Sami is 0-11 versus Drew McIntyre in single matches. They were kind of ramping that up at the end of last year. I think they were going to try to make Drew the bloodline hunter, but they kind of dropped that for whatever reason. But Sami Zayn, kind of always a bridesmaid in a way. I particularly like Sami Zayn. I'm glad that he's having this match opposed to the Rumble, because I feel like he should be like a guy that you could project to win the Rumble, just because of it's in his, Saudi where he's looked at fondly, and there's nice parallel story there. But that parallel story plays into this match. Sami Zayn, 2 years ago, unbelievable turn with Roman Reigns leading into his Elimination Chamber match. I don't think he's half of that excitement level wise, but that was a peak moment for him. I think Sami has juice. I just don't feel like the A title is his territory, and I consider the WWE title with around Drew McIntyre's waist the A title, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the sentiment that he's always going to be the underdog, and I don't think that WWE will ever put the actual strap on him. I guess the only chance would have had, and when I was on your show, we were talking about LA Knight, right? How when Roman was the champion, it was almost impossible to take those belts off of him. So you knew whoever was facing him, they just had no shot. So when Sami did face him at, I think, Elimination Chamber after he turned face back again, we knew there was no shot, but we loved the fact that the story was there. Prediction-wise, I mean, I think, like you said, I don't know if they have the stones to put the belt on Sami here. I think that would kill all the Drew momentum, because I think I would personally love a long run here with Drew with the belt, and I'm saying past WrestleMania and probably deep into SummerSlam, and I think Drew deserves that kind of title run. And what do you think about that? I think Drew ultimately wins this, but probably a banger match that Sami gives us all in.
Yeah, I actually like this to open the show. I don't know if you mentioned that or that was before. This should open, and they would have all of the crowd's attention, and they would warrant it. Sami is good in these underdog matches. He does garner the crowd, and he brings them for a ride and a good story, and he is good to kind of set up the moments in the crescendo in the matches to make you believe that perhaps it is the time. But I do feel that the guys here do have enough to have a banger match, so to speak, but it doesn't feel like the story has blossomed for Sami to win the belt yet. I think this is like a part of his journey to kind of get there in his focus on the world title for 2026, right? I don't feel like this is the time whatsoever.
Yeah, makes sense. Sometimes it's just not the time, right? What it is time for is our next match. Well, in order. I don't know what WWE plans on doing. AJ Styles versus Gunther. This is a leave. See, the title of this match is kind of throwing me off. Maybe I'm just looking too far into it. If WWE is not that smart, I don't know. It says it's a leave WWE match, right? Correct, if I'm not mistaken.
Or a career-threatening match, I think is the title. But
yeah, so I mean,
it's pretty much
he
for
could
AJ,
basically he could still go basically back to TNA if he wanted to. I feel like now that I'm sitting down and I'm kind of reviewing the last 6 months, I feel like we've been watching the AJ Styles retirement tour take place, but we've been so laser focused on John Cena for the last calendar year and his retirement tour that we kind of haven't focused on the AJ Styles tour, which is Nakamura, which is Cody, which is all of the guys that you would want him to face before his career is over. Do you truly think this is his final match going into Royal Rumble in Saudi?
The Saudi thing is weird, right? Because you would think that there would be a bigger crowd, not numbers-wise, but like hometown flavor for him, right? I was fortunate enough to be in the John Cena crowd at Saturday night's main event, and that felt special. I don't know if the Royal Rumble match 2 in a foreign country is special enough for a career to end. But AJ Styles is kind of a different cat, and he's kind of like a weird cat in a way, right? And I don't think he would feel comfortable on a big stage like that, having all the attention on him from a flowers, getting your flowers point of view, right? I feel that like in ring, boots to the ground, he's fine in a setting like that, but like celebration, realization, stuff like that, I just don't think he wants the hoo-ha of all of that, right? So the setting says no. This is conflicting, right? Because as we get closer, I don't know if it's a realization or they are doing a good job of muddying the waters of this is AJ Styles' final match, right? Because it's like he has been on a tour, but that tour has been accelerated in the last week or so. If it's the Punk match, if it's the Nakamura match, it's been the promo and the tone setting. And the tea leaves all the way back to, 9, 10, 12 months ago, would say that his contract is up before WrestleMania 42 in February. And this is January 31st. The February is the next day, so his contract is up physically. He can always sign a new one. He can sign a short-term deal. Yes, so that's like the part A. It's like they're doing a good job of presenting AJ Styles as his career over. But in the world of Unreal and in the world of storytelling and journeys, they've done a good job as well of setting this up to be the next chapter in the final year of AJ Styles, because they've said that this is the final year of AJ Styles. Now, that chapter started on Monday Night Raw. I believe it was the second Monday Night Raw of the year, where Gunther defeated AJ, but Gunther, behind the referee, or no, without the referee seeing, so to speak, tapped out to AJ Styles with the calf crusher, right? So that's telling the story that Gunther is vulnerable in this match and that AJ has a gripe to say, I had him beat, and then a few moments later, Gunther gave me a low blow, and he beat me by, mysterious ways. And now Gunther said, well, I'm a career merchant, and I like to collect careers. I already proved that I could beat you. It would be phenomenal of me, no pun intended, to end your career. So that's kind of how we got here. Now, if there's a scenario where Gunther is the final guy for AJ Styles' career, I think that is the correct answer. But is it at the Royal Rumble is the answer? Is this part 2 of a 3-match series where it is 1-1? Or are we kind of getting a scenario where it accelerated to the end of his career? He's kind of a bashful guy, or they're like, we just came off the Cena stuff. We don't really want to have this stuff with the storylines and careers and all that stuff. So we're just gonna kind of give you what we give you. And Gunther's our guy to kind of build on his career with his career stuff. So they've done a muddy. They've muddied the waters extremely well because either scenario you get, you see a ton of tea leaves, or even if there's a scenario that you can point to which way you're going, there are plenty of tea leaves. So in a career-threatening match, which are typically with Gunther, one-time matches that they're done, Goldberg and Cena, they've done a good job of muddying the waters and building a compelling pace. So I hate to be long-winded to say, I don't know, but I think they've done a good job of making you feel unknown.
Yeah, that's the exact thing that I think they've done a decent job at here. Actually, a pretty good job. You don't know what the end result of this match is going to be, so making the prediction is pretty tough. I don't think Gunther losing here breaks any momentum for him because I think we all look at AJ Styles still as formidable. It's not like he's going to be losing to Sami Zayn or something like that. But I think losing to AJ here doesn't really break Gunther's dominance, and he'll still be able to make up for it, like you said, down the road where it's now 1-1 and they could get to each other possibly at Mania or possibly somewhere maybe next month where they want to do something. But he just retired Cena like 10 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago.
6. So, honestly, it might be 6.
And you didn't just retire some schlep like Mosh or Thrasher from the Headbangers. You retired one of the top 5 wrestlers of all time in a lot of people's eyes. Some people the greatest of all time. To come off that and then just go straight to Styles, then you're going to start him in the rumor has it you'll start him in some sort of feud with Brock, and then he's going to retire Brock, and then it's too much retiring for me, and it's very Legend Killer-esque, and the Legend Killer is actually killing these legends now. But prediction-wise, if you want to add anything to that, or you want to put your prediction in?
Let's say AJ were to win, Gunther would not lose much momentum, like you said. I agree with that, but I feel like it would have a little ting to his shine, so to speak. Not that he can't get that back, but his character has shown a little vulnerability, but he's always overcome it. If it's losing to Sammy and Jay on back-to-back WrestleManias, I still think that the career thing has kind of reset his career and his trajectory to kind of break through that glass ceiling, because Gunther is not on that Punk, Cena, he's not on the Roman, even the Rollins level. He's not on that level. Cody, he's not on the level of guys. He's in that Orton tier. He's on that AJ tier, right? He's just above that. But he has potential to break through that. I don't think that losing to AJ would alter that projection, but it could a little bit, honestly. But mind you, he said in the build to this that he's already in the Royal Rumble. So perhaps if he were to lose and he inevitably does AJ's career down the road, say October, he could get a WrestleMania match heated up, even if he wanted to have him win it and go against Punk, so to speak, and get his SummerSlam loss match, because ultimately that's something that he should do as well. So,
yeah, everything you're saying makes total sense. Does the WWE share the same sentiment as you at this point?
But I need to give an opinion or a pick. I think Gunther wins.
Yeah. So I'm going for me. Honestly, I'm going. I do think AJ takes this one here, and I was always leaning Gunther for the longest time, probably since the match was announced. I'm like, oh damn, just like you said, dude. The more and more I'm feeling this match, I can't see AJ letting this be his final match. And I know he's a humble guy, and I know ego's probably not the biggest problem with him, but Saudi Royal Rumble,
weird.
He's going to end his career at like 4 p.m. Eastern time in the States against. I mean, I just can't see it yet. I think AJ wins this in just a banger match where all out.
They show great chemistry.
AJ just goes all out and wins it.
Yeah, they show great chemistry on the Raw match, and obviously they were holding back for this Rumble match. If this thing is like breaking all-time vibes and the trajectory is like match of the year type of things, I'm going to start thinking that the time is up for AJ.
Yeah, if it gets to like 20 minutes and we're like, oh my God.
Now, my question for you is, if say AJ wins, do you think he goes to a TNA, goes to an AEW? Because he just signed, did the copyrights on Phenomenal One, his logo in what, the AJ Styles name or whatever. I'm sure he owned it, and maybe he got the rights because he just re-signed with the WWE for X amount of months. So it could mean something, but it could mean nothing at all, really. But it means that he's doing the paperwork, but his contract's up, so he kind of has to do the paperwork anyways. Do you think he wrestles anywhere else?
Yeah, I definitely he has to go back to TNA for at least a couple of matches.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, for the longest time, I think this match was labeled like leave WWE, and it wasn't like or WWE career over. But he has to finish his. I would even be happy with him just having his final match in TNA, and not in maybe this could be his final WWE match, and TNA would be his final match. But again, though, it wouldn't make sense if he beats Gunther, and then just never comes back to him at that point, and just finishes in TNA. I don't think that would make much sense either.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he should end his career in TNA. I think this is far from his last match.
How about AEW? You think there's any chance he heads down there?
That would really suck. I don't know. You never know, man. They
got Ciampa last night. They got the money flowing. They lose that Jericho money. They dissipate it somewhere else. You know.
Yeah, there's always a chance when someone leaves. You
Not like there's a hard salary cap in Jacksonville, though, right?
So who did you pick? Who did you pick?
Yeah, I picked Gunther. I think it's done. I think he's done.
Yeah,
gun to the head. But I'm compelled. I could be swayed either way. Gun to the head, Gunther.
But that's good though. This is like back to the point. This is what I want when it comes to these matches. I don't want a clear cut. Like I feel like watching Drew and Sammy. I 100% know, or 99.9% know it's going to be Drew. This one feels like
right. Yeah.
This one I just feel like I don't know what direction it's going to go. Which that's the type of wrestling I truly appreciate when it comes to stories. Is not knowing where the match is going to go.
And kudos to them for getting us to have this conversation about the what ifs and the back and the forth and the possibilities, because it's true.
It's my man Triple H. He does it all. He's
video game cover guys.
He's gracing covers of video games as we speak. All right, let's go. Let's jump into everybody's favorite part of. I will update this list so it doesn't look so crappy, but everybody's favorite part of the night, which is the 2 Royal Rumble matches. We'll start with the women's match first. I have up here, I'm not sure you could see it, but I have up here the updated participants as of last night for the women, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I count 17 names announced for the women. That leaves us 13 spots for NXT. It leaves us 13 spots for Legends. It leaves us 13 spots for major surprises. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I always look at that first. I look at the number that hasn't been announced, and I get myself excited for who could come back, and I ultimately get disappointed for the most part. Women's Rumble match. Do you have? Before we get into who do you want to see come back? If you could pick one person
come
for
back
the Women's Royal Rumble match,
I don't think Belair would count as a comeback, probably, right?
she would count. Yeah, she would count because she hasn't been announced yet. And
yeah, I would say Belair. NXT, including NXT, is that like
whatever you want? Could be a Legend. It could be NXT. It could be
I think Blake deserves a spot in this Royal Rumble. Blake Monroe.
Yes.
I think that would be a really good presentation for her. I think Sol Ruka's really overrated, but I understand the appeal of her, of like a Sol Ruka in this match. It's just probably would maximize what she is. Legend, why? All right, so I have a returning active, I have an NXT, and a Legend. I don't know. It'd be kind of cute if they had like Brie with Nikki, I guess, like because you've had Nikki for the past year for the most part. If she had a moment with Brie, or honestly, if Paige came back. I saw her on social media looking all right, ready for a comeback. So I think it would be pretty cool if she came back as well. If we get McCool and it's like that stuff again, I'm just going to be like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about like surprise entrants. Who do you want to see? All that stuff. And I'm saying, like, listen, I'm an Attitude Era shill. You'll never tell me that era was not the greatest ever. And I'm just a stand for that era. I'll defend it till the day I die, even for the people who detract it nowadays. I'm okay if we skip a year of Trish and Lita, and we just hold off maybe for another year. I mean, we've seen the comeback. I'm okay if we skip a year of Kelly. I'm okay if we skip a year of certain names. Yeah. If they could start including some more names, some more NXT, like a Blake Monroe. I'd rather much see Blake Monroe than Trish Stratus. And I know Trish Stratus is a big name, and there's the problem with Saudi Arabia is it's so unpredictable because I feel like a lot of them share the same sentiment as I do because you're already seeing rumors next year if they're trying to get Austin, they're trying to get The Rock, they're trying to get all these guys from those eras. I feel like they're more big name than they are probably the up-and-coming Blake Monroe or like the Sol Rucas or somebody in NXT, like somebody like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's like I'm not even like a Bella fan, stan or guy, but I just think it would be cool, and that's something we haven't seen in a while. I agree with the sentiment that Lita, the Trish's, the Kelly Kellys, been there, done that. Like we even got like a Melina, we even got Victoria. Like we've gotten those girls recently. So honestly, maybe an Eve Torres would be fun and good. She was at John Cena's last match, and I don't think she's been in a Rumble. Eve Torres would work, I think.
Yeah. So you gave me the names for your surprise entrance, or do you have three that could surprise us, like shock us coming in? I could give you my three first if
All
you
right, go
want
ahead.
to
Yeah.
take a second. This is surprising, shocking, like pretty much not going to happen, I don't think. But I think one would be Gail Kim. I think
Yeah,
that
that's
would
a
be
great
pretty
one.
dope.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty dope to see her come back.
Yeah.
She's a huge name that a lot of people will know. The other one for me would be Paige. I actually think it's a better chance that she is in the Rumble for some reason. I'm getting the
I
sense
agree.
she
Yeah.
will be in it. And the third for me, like we said before, would be Blake. I would love to see Blake Monroe. I saw something where she was advertising some sort of show for the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and a lot of people took that as she's not going to be in the Rumble at all. But I don't know. Some people say they're doing things all the time and they show up. So do you have three that would like kind of shock you a little bit if they showed up?
I don't know if Paige would shock me, but I would definitely be in favor of it.
Mae
Gail Kim
Young?
would shock me, honestly. Gail would, off your list, Gail would shock me. I feel like Mickey's always in the conversation.
Oh yeah, that'd
They
be good.
kind of did her dirty a little bit with the LFG replacement of McCool, so maybe they give her, a pat on the back and throw her in or a payday, throw her in the Rumble. I'm not shocked if Belair returns, like I said earlier, but yeah, I think that's a good one. Now, who's your TNA? Is there any TNA girls? I don't know how familiar with the roster you are. Who's the Xia Li is the champ right now? She
Yeah,
won it
yeah.
on an NXT match. I think her name is, I don't know her TNA name, but if they wanted to throw her in a Rumble, she's been in a Rumble before, so she probably understands the cadence. TNA partnership, she already won that belt on their TV, so I can see maybe that happening. But you know what
One
would be a
name
good
that just
one?
pops out is okay. Go ahead.
The Iconics. The Iconics girls would
Oh
be good.
yeah, it's been a while since we've seen them in
Yeah.
the WWE. One name that kind of pops out would be Elena. I get like Elena Black. I
Oh,
know she
Cora
just
Jade? Yeah.
signed, and she literally just signed. But there's a sort of, and it's not just because of the other thing that she does, but there is sort of a little bit, just to me, there's a little bit of an aura about her. I know.
She got
I
some
don't know
shit to her.
if you, yeah, if you like, there is a popularity and an aura to her that I think the WWE just did not tap into fully. And I think eventually she will be back with them once she gets her TNA run, gets back into the rhythm of things. She took a year off, I think, or close to a year off from wrestling in general. But she would be a name that I could see popping up.
Yeah, that's that, and that would be a shocker.
Yeah.
That would
All
be a
right.
lit.
Long shot. Give me long shot winner where you think. Actually, we'll go through three of these things. Who's going to give you the star of the night sort of thing? Who's gonna wow you throughout the entire night for the women? Put on that show.
Probably like an EO. I don't think that this is a year that EO is going to win, so they probably want to make sure EO looks good because I don't want to say she's holding down Rhea Ripley. I'm not whatsoever. But she's stuck in a story with Rhea Ripley, their biggest potential star. So they're going to want to make Io Sky look as equal. So she's probably in the Royal Rumble early, and she's probably in the Royal Rumble late. And then she's probably the glue, the conduit, however you want to phrase it, throughout the match, where she's making sure all the girls are in their spots. She has the high-flying moves, and she's probably the most active girl in the Royal Rumble. So I think that would equate to Star of the Night. Did I meet your definition correctly?
You did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
All right,
I'd
good
pick Io
answer.
Sky for sure.
I'm gonna rock with Jordan Grace for this one. I think I think she's actually a future star in the making, in my opinion. And
Yes.
again, it's just a matter of WWE getting it right. I think she's gonna put on a little bit of a show, elimination wise in this Rumble. Maybe like 7 or 8 women get tossed
Diesel
out because of
spot,
her.
maybe. Yep.
Yeah, where she, maybe that typical, 3 or 4 girls are on top of her, and she gives you the whip out, and they all get tossed over the rope, something like that. But I'll go with Grace. Who's your long shot winner? Who's somebody that you know will not win in the back of your head, but it wouldn't shock you if they did?
It's funny that you bring up Jordan Grace because when I saw that category, Jordan Grace was my answer for this. You can see a scenario where she wins this, but is it likely? No. She's in the mix with Jade right now. Perhaps they want to elong that to WrestleMania. But once she's been in the mix with Jade for the last 3 weeks or so, she's felt the part. Physically, she looks great. Presence wise, aura, steal your award wise, all those things that Jade is good at, Jordan has matched her with, in my opinion. And Jordan is a hell of a wrestler, probably a little bit better than Jade, so to speak, right? And what I like about Jordan is she's shown the characteristics and the mic skills that on the main roster to hang at that level too, where in NXT she wasn't really leaned on in that way. So yeah, I think she's a long shot winner, but is it realistic? No, but could it be? For sure.
Yeah, another one that kind of fits that for me. I just had it in my head. What the hell happened? Oh, going back to the Unreal stuff. I think there's a slim 0.8% chance we get Chelsea Green
I know where you're going
to
with
win.
that. It's a good one.
To win.
Yeah.
And I think then the WWE, I mean, people crap on the WWE, but they're not stupid. I don't know if that thing was implanted in the Unreal show last year for people to watch and see to show you how highly they think of Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
And the fact that yeah, go ahead.
They also put her over in it and says we give her 30 seconds and she maximizes more than when we give people 30 minutes. And she gets more out of her 30 seconds than people get out of their 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they're putting her over.
100%. Yeah.
And they're not, and if you're a slop or if they don't like you, they're not going to put you on Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one
My
thing I
LA
do
Knight,
agree with is that
your LA Knight push or hopeful push, I'm more fond of that idea because they had him look like a dweeb on Unreal a little bit to build up that sympathy and garner that fan push again. So
yeah,
I'm
that look on his
optimistic.
face was like so pathetic that you're just like, oh my god, they're never going to push him, and then here they come. But yeah, Chelsea Green would be the long shot for me. Who's your winner?
Bianca Belair. I think
That's the sentiment now. Everyone's rocking with that.
I think it makes the most sense. Is it earned? No, because she's been gone for 9, 10 months. But
It's all
I
right.
feel that she returns and she gets the hero welcome. She wins that belt inevitably from Jade, and then I think she has some characteristics in her that perhaps turns her to the bad side, so to speak, right? And I think that
Nice.
that's how Triple H kind of looks at Bianca Belair. If you recall her NXT run under Triple H's thumb, the EST was pretty cocky and backed it up, and I feel that that presentation is a nice coat of paint for her to kind of freshen up on the main roster. Not that she was stale whatsoever, because I think that she's one of the better women in the company, but I think from a presentation standpoint, it will go a long way. And I think this is kind of the year Bianca Belair after taking a year off with a knuckle injury, which doesn't sound like much, but perhaps was.
Yeah. Yeah, and that sometimes time away is best for a lot of a lot of people, a lot of character building. So like her being away for the 9-10 months, she's definitely going to be missed. And if she comes back, she's definitely would be the overwhelming favorite. I'm just going to go Liv. I think Liv has done her. Not that she needs this at much, Liv Morgan, because I feel like she's one of the most, if not the most, over female wrestler in the company now. She's been the one that's pushed these rumbles as far as she possibly can. She finishes second, third. She puts in the most minutes. She does it. She's been the WWE's go-to girl in terms of putting on these fun matches and giving it all she has. But this is that one feather in the cap she doesn't have. Liv is the Royal Rumble victory. I think Bianca won 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
21, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she
21.
won in
Okay.
21.
So
There
yeah,
might
this
be
is the one.
something to Saudi Arabia and Liv Morgan because she won that Crown Jewel Championship there too as well, right? So
Oh, that
maybe
big ass belt.
I think the Saudis I think there's some truth to them kind of preferring winners, and who wouldn't prefer Liv Morgan? You know
Do
what
you
I
think
mean?
that's a really good point? Do you think it's a pretty open, like a pretty broad question, but do you think that they influence TKO and WWE with how much they pay on their
I think
decision
they have
making?
strong suggestions, perhaps. Like, I don't think that they're open for business verbally, but I think they have strong suggestions, and I think I don't want to spoil anything next, but I think they're going to get a few of their suggestions satisfied here in the next
I
match. So
agree.
I think they probably care, the Saudis, if we're talking here, they probably
Hmm.
care more about the men and the women, just
Big time.
culturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, to my point earlier, where Liv has had a lot of success in Saudi Arabia, perhaps their WWE is using that as a way to scratch that creative Saudi itch when the plan was the plan anyways, and let's just be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. We'll go with Liv, and that was our plan anyway. You know what I mean? I think there's some manipulation in games from their end. Some poker chips on their side to be like, well, we gave this to you last time, so you know, you know,
All right.
stuff
So
like that.
main event, which would probably be the main event,
I
definitely
would
be the
say.
main event since we're in Saudi. We have the men's Royal Rumble. The updated list that we have here, I counted 17 names, coincidentally, the same amount as the women. 13 slots left open for multiple legends. NXT, not much NXT talent that we could think about, though, but TNA, anybody that you could think of could be coming into these 13 slots. Who do you have in them? Is there anything sticking out to you in the men's Royal Rumble that excites you? Like, do you have, like, Obafemi's a pretty popular one that's coming into the Rumble this year?
Yeah, I'm glad that they announced Brock because that means they have bigger names to announce, right? So I
That's a
don't know
great
who would
point.
not be excited to see Brock. Brock in this setting. Brock's an all-time Rumble guy. Justin and I did our WrestleMania performers countdown last night, and Brock finished sixth or fifth or sixth all time in Rumble guys. So Brock's a beast, So I'm glad they announced him. Cody, two-time winner. I don't think he's gonna win again. Gunther. I'd like to see Gunther. I like to see what he would do with Roman Reigns in the ring. I like Gunther. I like to see what he does with Brock Lesnar. Gunther, I like to see what he does with Obafemi. Brock Lesnar, fuck. I'd like to see Brock Lesnar and fucking Logan Paul have a walkthrough. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like Gunther, and then Gunther's gonna have that chip on his shoulder as like, I'm fatigued. He has an out, so to speak. So he's a little vulnerable heading to this match, being in a grueling AJ style match. So that will play into it too. Gunther and Braun Breaker. I like Gunther. Gunther's name isn't like appealing, but the interactions that he would have with the heat that he has generated coming off of AJ, coming off Cena. I like how he would dissipate that heat to other shit. Him and Fatu in a running. You know what I mean? So there's Gunther is ready to mingle with a bunch of these guys, and I'm excited to see that.
I think a good thing, like if they go the route of AJ beating Gunther on Sunday or Saturday, whatever the Rumble is now, it's always. But I think a great way to just quickly rebuild Gunther immediately is making him like the number 2 entrant against somebody pretty powerful like a Femi or Bronson Reed or somebody like that, and just having Gunther go the next 40 minutes in the Rumble. And I'm not saying people are going to forget that he just lost to AJ, but it'll be something where he's still showing you that I'm still Gunther and I'm not going anywhere. But I
No
think
doubt.
something like that would be, instead of like, don't make him come out at like number 30 and try to put on like this show. Let him come out early and put on a pretty good show. I think it all depends on what happens in that AJ match.
And yeah, that's why I'm also interested too, because what is the scenario with the AJ match and how does that translate to Gunther in this Royal Rumble? But this is low key a star studded Royal Rumble with the 17, 18 names announced already. Oh, Orton's on that list too. Wow. So
He
Orton,
is down
Cody,
here.
Roman, Gunther, Jay won it last year, Brock, Fatu, Breaker, like Oba, Vision,
Even
loaded.
Paul, like Paul's going to put on some spot that's going to wow everybody. Javon Evans is probably going to put on a little spot as well.
Yep, him and his Red Sox hat. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know about Dragon. I just look at a name like Dragon. It just doesn't excite me. Like I wish that slot was for somebody else. But
Yeah, but Open Femi needs to throw out a lot of guys, so you need the Dragon.
You got to have
Leagues.
those people.
Yeah.
You didn't mention Rey Mysterio, did you? A formal Rumble winner.
Not a great Rumble guy. He's really bad in 06.
So here we
Big
go.
for me anymore. Not that he was ever really. I think Ray is pretty overrated in the WWE.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I love Ray. I love what he did for both companies, every company that he's been in. One of the greatest luchadors ever. I don't need to see him in the Rumble anymore. I'm over that. Maybe I don't know. Again, we're in Saudi Arabia. It's not a Saudi Arabia thing either. The WWE puts him in every year, pretty much. All right. 3 surprise entrants that you could see coming back to the men's Royal Rumble. Now, keep in mind, we are in a location that changes the game when it comes to this. Like more, I mean, I think the possibilities are endless. Do you have three men that could come back in this Rumble and surprise you, or give you that maybe that mini jaw dropping factor? Like, oh my god.
See, I think that being in Saudi Arabia helps keep a surprise. Honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
You know yeah, it's a longer flight, but it's a private flight. You know what I mean? It's a very private flight. Jericho, I think he's the easy one. I'm pretty sure he's on your list as well. We talked about this match before. I really hope it happens. We break the walls down, Judas, whatever. I think that he'll get a very big pop. And his last WWE appearance was at the Greatest Royal Rumble in 2018 in Saudi Arabia in a Royal Rumble match. You know,
Full circle.
Full circle in a way. Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable returning in this match is a strong possibility. Him on social media of late looking tan, jacked, ready to go. Now is he El Grande Americano? Is Ludwig Kaiser in this match? Do they do like the double doink kind of thing from back in the day? Or do they have beef? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities there. Is he El Grande? Is he Chad? What is he? I'm just excited to see him because he's phenomenal. And then I think the long shot surprise is actually Stone Cold, right? Because you mentioned earlier that these guys, they love the Attitude Era. They got the big money. They got the big whatever. And Stone Cold reportedly is coming back. Now, he's coming back for the San Antonio 316 Raw. You know what I mean? That's why they got the merchandise rocking and rolling. Not for the Royal Rumble. But it could be for the Royal Rumble. Or it could be for the Attitude Era game or whatever the fuck they got going on there. Right? So
money talks, man. Money talks.
But money talks. The man is in shape-ish. You know,
even by you just saying Stone Cold, I legit just popped when you said it. Like
I wouldn't rule it out, Pudgy. I really would.
I think I would be so. I mean, I don't care if people will hate it, because some people will hate it. I will soak it in.
No one hates Stone Cold.
I know he's the one guy.
I would be a little upset personally because this is selfish, and I still want him to return. But selfishly, I might be the only guy in the history of the world to be at John Cena's last match, at Stone Cold's last match, at Hulk Hogan's last match, and at The Rock last match. Those are 4 Mount Rushmore guys, perhaps, for the WWE only since, Hogan's Hulkamania era. You could make a case for those 4 being the 4 biggest superstars. And I was at all their last matches. Now, will The Rock wrestle again? Probably. So I don't hold it much longer.
If you don't think, full transparency here, little mini prediction. If you don't think we're getting Rock Austin next year at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, a moment here. This would be that goes to one of my surprise entrances. The Rock. I think the who's the big guy that's been calling Adam Pearce on Raw? There's not
3
Vince.
Options.
Right?
3 options. You all right? So you want the 3 options?
Yes.
The 3 options, because they did say even Triple H would be scared of this guy. So inevitably, it's The Rock, right? You think it's The Rock. But there's such an ego with Triple H and The Rock that Triple H wouldn't allow for it to be said that Triple H would be scared of this guy if it was The Rock, right? Because Triple H would love to be on the same level as The Rock. historically from start, whatever, right? So I don't think that it's The Rock just solely based off Michael Cole or Heyman or whoever saying Triple H is even scared of this guy. But Adam Pearce's tone has drastically changed. So it is someone, and it should be someone. Number 2, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I know it's controversial, dude. I'm all for it. I
Dude,
mean,
people, yeah, the portion of the fans that would be the loudest would be, the people that perhaps will be listening to us, the IWC or the people in the weeds. But mind you, the night that he had to retire from the WWE, went on SmackDown, the scandals, all that stuff came out, Wall Street Journal story, all that stuff. Minnesota, a very liberal state, bowed down to Vince McMahon when his music hit. It gave him a massive pop. And it just is like sex scandals, money, like all the bullshit that the thing said. And this guy's no chance in Minnesota popped and like gave him an encore. And it was just like, I hate this. Like, you're right, Mike. People would pop. They really, really would. Not that we're condoning that whatsoever or whatever, but
no, not at all. No,
but people would pop. I don't know what to tell you. They would.
Dude, bro, they popped for Brock, and his name was mentioned.
Well, Brock is low key my third answer.
Wow.
Just because he has the Heyman ties. Now, there's also some bad answers like Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan. I think those would be bad answers. I think that's kind of lame.
It does. Yeah, those guys will do nothing for me. I don't need this to be a. I also don't want this to turn into an anonymous Raw general manager type thing, where where they don't. Excuse me, where they might not even have the answer yet themselves, and they're backing themselves into a corner here just to kind of create some intrigue. But I definitely think it's The Rock, 100%. I think he'll start ramping up his WrestleMania 43 run coming up next year.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna get paid, man. But yeah, Stone Cold would be dope. Oh my god, I would just
any chance Stone Cold
Rock and Stone Cold face to face would be. Oh my god.
Any chance Stone Cold or even the Undertaker's not in the Rumble, but is there any chance the Undertaker is the phone call? Like, and we get like heel dead man in a way.
It could be somebody. Yeah, it has to be It has to be somebody with significance to where, again, like you said, Triple H has to fear the person. It can't be anybody than the other ones that we've mentioned. It's not going to be anybody like. No, it has to be Rock.
It has to be. Here's another wild card. Is it any chance it's Shane? But why would Triple H fear Shane?
Another guy.
Yeah.
Does he? Maybe would he?
Any chance it's Stephanie?
Oh, that's actually pretty good. He does fear Stephanie.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like I'm all for Vince. And just to think, like the ironic part about all this is that how many people over the last 40 years or 50 years has Vince forgiven and brought back, no matter what kind of scandal they've been in? For the most part, he's forgiven everybody and their families, and he's brought them back through. Even when they couldn't stand him, and even when they sued him, he brought him back.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a small shot.
I think there's a chance, even if it's like a one-time type of thing, right? So
I wouldn't mind a Vince storyline where he's like, the company's going to shit type thing, and this wasn't happening. Ticket prices weren't like this when I was running stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
they bring him back as a babyface.
Bring him back as a face, and let TKO. That would be very nice of TKO to admit what they're doing to everybody. Or he could even mention the WWE Network being $9.99 and the ESPN deal being garbage, and just go all out with it. Long shot winner, somebody that we know most likely will not win, but could win if you dig deep, really deep into it.
LA Knight. Just because they did it with Jey Uso last year, and LA Knight is at that same level right now where Jey Uso was last year. He should be back at the Rumble. We didn't mention him as a returner. I think we took it for. It's interesting that they haven't announced him yet, But the way that he went out with the storyline, with the vision and whatnot, getting decimated 2 months ago, whatever it was, he's had a nice rest, and I think the Rumble was always the timeline to get him back on TV. And I hope it's a renewed push, but at least a renewed shot at being LA Knight at his peak. Like, I think we talked about this on my pod. He really should be a world champion. I don't think it's here and now, but I think they could and should build to it.
Yeah, give us the beginning stages of that with a Rumble win. I'm 100% in agreement with you with LA Knight. Again, I don't think WWE is as stupid as a lot of people think. I don't think Triple H is stupid as a lot of people think. That Unreal show is not just out there to show you what's going on behind the scenes. I think there is legitimate storytelling in that show where they're dropping little hint after little hint, and how dejected LA Knight looked on that show, just sitting there shaking his head at Triple H scolding him. I don't think that's just Triple H putting that on camera just to do it and show you that he's this big authoritarian. I think there's a little something behind that.
Also, one more long shot, Sami. Just because, say, he gets screwed in some, I know, some other way that he gets screwed against Drew, similar to Gunther. This is Gunther AJ. This is like a chapter of their story, and then Sami gets screwed in the match, but he has to enter the Rumble to get a shot again. It is in Saudi Arabia. It would be accepted extremely well. If there were a place to do it, it probably would be that night. I don't think I love it. I think there's better winners, but we're in the long shot category, so I wanted to throw that out there as well. I prefer Knight though.
No, it's a good choice. Yeah. Now who's your winner? The 39th annual Royal Rumble. Who was your men's winner?
I think it's down to two realistically, and that's Roman and Braun. I don't think Cody needs it. I don't think Fatu needs it, because I feel like their story will project them to where they have to go. This feels like a Monday Night Raw winner. And do they go with Braun Breaker? They've invested a lot of story in Braun Breaker heading into the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns' contract's up after WrestleMania 42, right? So could this Rumble win come with a new contract? And when I had Ibu on back in November, we kind of painted a scenario where it would be much beneficial to the WWE, in our opinion, that if they jam-packed all these Roman Reigns appearances through 5 years. Say they go 5 years, 10 matches a year. If they jam-packed that into 2 and really went with him on that Netflix show. If they said, yeah, we're going to pay you per appearance, and it's going to cost us in the short run, but we're going to go with you being our guy because you're losing your stigma, you're losing your aura, you're losing your presentation. I think every time you leave and come back, that return still gets diminished. So we're going to pay you what we're paying you. We're not paying you over 5 years. We're paying you in 2 years, and you're going to work your ass off. You're not going to Hollywood like you thought you were. That's maybe in a few years you are, but I would totally focus a 39, 40-year-old Roman Reigns, whatever he is, into a hyper-focused 2-year push, similar to what they had in the Bloodline. It doesn't have to be Bloodline-esque, but whatever the iteration is Roman Reigns, it needs to be from a weekly, at least monthly presentation. And like I said, that 5-year contract, if it's 10 matches or whatever appearances per year, total that for 5 years, but jam-pack it in 2 and see what you have. And then he can start making guys to get him back up to that special level. Because he is special, 100%. But it's starting to dissipate just because he's not around.
Yes, I feel it too. I feel like when he comes back, I do like seeing him come back on TV, but I'm like, oh, okay, Roman's back. How many
returns are we going to have? You know what I mean?
Like, he's back again and back again. And he doesn't take these, like, major long hiatuses. It's usually, like 6 months at the most where he takes off. And it's like, it's not enough time for me to miss you that much.
It's
we spoke to...
What hurts it's not organic. It hurts its storytelling because you see the parallels that, well, he's going through this and then he's out. Like, he's only doing this for a little bit and then he's gone. We can already see him being gone. So it's starting to hurt him as a character, in my opinion. as a presentation on TV. So,
But that's a good idea. Jam packing him for 2 years also gives WWE that little blanket now to build Braun even more. Have the next guy set for when Roman at age 40 says, I'm probably gonna not hang him up, but maybe I'm just gonna head to Hollywood permanently or for good, or just come back to WWE rarely, and just like The Rock was doing, but eventually he just completely left.
Presentation. No, he ain't even Cena. It took Cena 5, 6, 7 years to break through in Hollywood.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say I'm going to go Roman as well. I think Roman is probably going to win this thing, make him a 2-time Rumble champion. Where he goes with that after would be, I would assume, Punk, right?
Yeah, unless if Punk does something else and it gets dropped. But I didn't even feel back in November, that Cody and Roman was on the horizon. That felt like manipulation from their point of view, right? That didn't feel like it was heading that way. Like there's definitely a Roman Cody part 3, but it doesn't feel like it should be on the horizon or is going to be on the horizon. I always felt that was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, those 2 Mania matches were built up. I mean, this would have no juice to it if they just did Cody Roman again.
Yeah. What's the stakes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing on the line, especially next year especially this year, if it's just Cody Roman and they don't win if either of them don't win the Rumble and it's just Cody Roman 3, I think that would be a major letdown, although I'd enjoy watching it, but like you said, what's on the line?
Now, is there any way, Austin returns on the horizon? We already talked about it. Is there any Austin going to win a match? Austin Roman, let's fucking go. Generation versus generation. You want to fucking headline WrestleMania in Vegas for the 2nd year in a row? You need some, we can't have rinse, repeat, recycle, move guys around. Insert Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin and have him face Roman fucking Reigns.
What if we do the longest teased match in wrestling fans' history of Austin Punk at WrestleMania 42?
I'm game.
Austin wins the Rumble. So now you get me excited that Austin's going to win. I don't want to do that because he might not even be in it.
It's a fraction of a possibility.
Dude, if your final 4 is in the Rumble is Austin, Jericho, Rock, and I don't know, who would you put it, Roman?
I like Jericho. He ain't on that level. I go, if the Rock's there, fuck Rock, Austin, Roman, and Breaker. You want to make Breaker? Association is the key right there.
If you want to go full Saudi Arabia, it would be like Brock Lesnar, Austin, Rock, and I guess as your final 3, and now you're sitting there or Taker in the final 4. Now you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen here?
No doubt.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. 39th annual Royal Rumble will be in the books. 48 hours from now, we will have all the post-show stuff. I would like to have you on again. We could discuss the post-show. We could do the road to WrestleMania. Where are we going to be headed from there? If WWE even knows where they're going to be headed, we'll probably have more clarity once the Rumble is over, obviously. Last year was a bit of a shocker with Jey Uso winning, so kind of threw everybody off for a loop.
Yeah.
So, Brian, where can we find you? If we go onto the YouTube or the World Wide Web, where can people find you?
All right, let me do my Mania plug or my Royal Rumble plug. So we got the previews, Mikey. You were nice enough to join me on one of them. We preview each match heading into the Royal Rumble with a different guest for each match, and then I throw it all together for one audio release. But you can catch the individual release on the YouTube. Then we just did a draft for the Royal Rumble. We drafted the Royal Rumble matches, Justin and I, and 2 other guys, Aaron and Toolman. We drafted the best WrestleMania matches. Last night, Justin and I did the top 25 Royal Rumble competitors. So you're going to scratch all the nostalgia itch in the Royal Rumble whatsoever. And then for Super Bowl week, next weekend, I used to run a show with Kelly Nelson. I don't know if you know him. He's a historian. Big time old head, 70s, 80 guy. And it was called Touchdowns to Turnbuckles. We would talk about football players that transition into becoming wrestlers. And it was a 7-part series we did a few years ago, and we're going to do one again on Super Bowl Sunday because your boys, the Pats, are in the Super Bowl. So we're going to dust off the mics and do one of those. And the 4 wrestlers that we're going to go are Stan Hansen, Bron Breakker, and then he picked Reggie White because Reggie White did have a match. So I picked Pat McAfee. So we're going to go over their football career. We're going to go over their wrestling career. We're going to have match recommendations. And we're going to kind of, it's just, those shows are evergreen. There's 7 of them. So they're about an hour long each. Kelly, I said earlier, is a historian. So you get plenty of football history. You get the wrestling history, match recommendations, stuff like that. So I would check that out if you're a football/wrestling fan and you like history too. That's that. And Mike, you can go to rankwrestling.com, my new website, which is almost ready to launch, and check it out. There's a bunch of stuff up there as well.
No, sounds very good. Yeah, you guys do excellent stuff, man. A lot of stuff that it scratches my itch when it comes to the old school stuff where when I was growing up and the younger stuff, but love the stuff you guys are doing. Keep it up. And I look forward to the next collaboration that we have. And hopefully all your Royal Rumble dreams come true on Saturday night.
Yeah, one more thing. Catch me on the No So Post Show right after the Royal Rumble. It'll be live on YouTube on the YouTube channel.
Everything will be linked below, guys, so check that out. Till the next one, guys, Royal Rumble season is upon us. Enjoy the Royal Rumble and Vince McMahon's return, possibly. Enjoy the Royal Rumble, and hopefully we get some more clarity on what's going on, guys. Thank you for watching. See you guys on the next video.
Thanks, Mike.